Shane, we had a great question from Gary that I think it'd be remiss of us not to touch upon. The last few years, the pandemic, how do you build culture when we haven't been allowed to be in the same room with a lot of our colleagues?
Interestingly, I think a lot of people would look at the last 2 years and say, culture's taken a big hit, our culture's not great because we've been scattered and working remotely. And yet in our research, 3 in 4 managers said culture has been either massively or substantially better since working remotely. So which feels like it's a little bit at odds with the conversation. So whilst we're not in the room, we can still be really intentional about the kind of culture that we're looking to build. And it can actually be a really, really good culture.
So do you think that's people reevaluating what they want out of life and in turn, therefore, their work choices, as much as it is organisations not being able to do some of the more, I call transactional material things for people?
Yeah, I mean, I touched on it briefly, but this idea of the great reevaluation that people are doing on work and life has kind of crept into, it can't escape showing up at work. So if you think about a lot of the things about culture become so deeply ingrained to the way that we do things that we don't often talk about them. So we've been operating a particular way for a long period of time and we never question it. We never ask anything, is this the best way that we could be doing it? Is the way that we want to do it? And then all of a sudden COVID hits and all of these conversations have bubbled to the surface. We now have to ask, well, are you being measured on output or outcomes? Are you okay to work from home or do I need you in the office? A lot of these things were just given parts of our culture. And for the first time, we're actually having conversations about it.
And having worked in and around tech for 25 years, I think tech communities are used to disparate working groups. And then other corporate functions have had the opportunity to enjoy the new ways of working as well and making those adjustments to their lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of places that have the culture that they want already in place long before the pandemic hit.
Yep.
And other places, their culture's still the same. It's just the expression of that looks slightly different now because they're adjusting the way that they work. And so I think, again, this all boils down to the big thing we've been talking about is it's communication. If we talk about it, we can have honest conversation about it. If we ignore it, it just becomes an average or a norm that just becomes the way that we do things and we can actually change it.
Fantastic, thank you.